Hello and welcome to another edition of ProtoMet's First Impressions, where I give my thoughts on the first episode of any new tokusatsu show. And it's another year, so we got another season of Dogengers Metropolis, which, going into it, I wasn't entirely sure if it was supposed to be Metropolis or Metropolis, because the katakana could really be read either way, but it is Metropolis. But given that the show does have a police theme, I think it's supposed to be a sort of double entendre, a pun, if you will. Now, this first episode starts with a kind of a diorama scene, basically showing a lot of chaotic stuff going on in one moment, all in like still frame, and it very closely resembles that of the opening scene of Deadpool, the movie. Complete with music that actually kind of sounds a bit like Juice Newton's Angel of the Morning. Nice touch, and like in Deadpool, the actual context of what's going on in this chaotic scene does get explained later, but the gist of what you need to know in this very moment is that one very unfortunate new recruit cop is facing down a gun-wielding bank robber. There's also, the various heroes and villains from past seasons present in the scene, but the actual episode starts with a flashback to how this young officer, Shiraishi, wound up in this moment. And turns out he actually looked up to police officers after he got lost as a kid, and a cop helped him find his parents, I assume. But that occurs while he's having a flashback a bit later, but he's a new cop, can't even help an old guy with directions, which actually results in the new guy basically using a phone GPS to find where he's going. Kind of funny, but then Shiraishi gets the call to a bank robbery, which is interrupted by Yaiba Kamen, the lead villain from past seasons, falling into the scene and breaking up the hostage situation that's going on, which results in the hostage managing to get away, and it looks like she's trying to flip the bank robber and Yaiba coming off, but she's using her index finger while claiming that they're the scum of the earth. I don't know if that's supposed to be a reference or something. I didn't get it, but it was kind of weird that it looked like she was flipping him off, but she was just pointing upward in a weird way. Probably something I just don't get, but then, of course, the Dogengers show up to join the fight that makes the entire scene all the chaotic, and we get a quick zooming recap of the diorama scene we got at the beginning of the episode, and Shiraishi is staring down the bullet that's being fired at him, and his life flashes before his eyes, and that's when we get that whole he was a kid who got saved by a cop, but he's still a coward, and then his life finishes flashing before his eyes, and then you realize that it flashbacked a bit too quickly because the bullet's still coming at him. So his life flashes before his eyes again as he faints, which actually causes the bullet to completely miss him. Dogengers, if you're not aware, is a very funny series. It doesn't take itself very seriously at all, and this really drives that home for anybody who hadn't watched the previous seasons. It's a nice touch. Later on, Shiraishi wakes up back at headquarters, and there's a meeting with the cops. He's not involved with it, but they're basically talking about how the city is basically overrun with heroes, but it's supposed to be their job to deal with crime and stuff. So they're a bit miffed over that. Meanwhile, we get a crime organization who has the same elements. They're upset that there are so many villains in town that they can't really drum up their illicit business. So both sides, independently of each other, and wind up hiring mad scientists who, it's revealed in this episode, are brothers, to create for them something to deal with the growing threat of the supers that are in town. So the cops get what is basically like the like from it's in my mind, Winspector, Soulbrain, and Exedraft. Basically an armor suit, which, as it turns out, is being worn by Shiraishi, who is still very much confused about what's all going on. Also, Rookie and one of the other Dogengers is there as, like, chief for a day, honorary chief for a day, so they're just kind of sitting in, basically being told to just not pay attention to all the talk about them. But basically, the police have now got their own Toku hero. I mean, that's really the best way to describe it. They've got their own Toku hero. Meanwhile, the villains now have their own Toku villain. Although the mad scientist who created it tells the mob boss that that the robot is prone to going absolutely berserk and wants to work out the kinks before activating it. So the mob boss activates it, which goes incredibly well for them. But long story short, this new villain robot, Union, looks at like this whole what's it called? It's like that one moment from, I want to say, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You know, the one meme where this one guy thinks everything's all connected to something? Like that kind of setup. I can't remember what it's called offhand, but it's basically got all the heroes, and Union looks at pictures on there and basically decides that she wants to take them all for herself. So that's where the episode basically ends, with her heading off on her journey and passing by the protagonist from last season. Dogengers, some tokusatsu shows don't make it abundantly clear right away that they are set in the same universe as other tokusatsu shows, like, say, the Ultra series, Super Sentai Kamen Rider. Those generally kind of have their own story. Dogengers is like, yeah, no, this all takes place in just the one city, so you're going to see characters from past seasons. It's fun. I definitely recommend checking out Dogengers Metropolis, and I'm certainly going to keep my eye out for more of it to see where it goes, because it's certainly going to be a lot of fun if past seasons are any indication. So, until next time, I'm ProtoMet. See ya!